The first kickoff, take it all the way to the house and get a 5-yard penalty for dancing in the end zone.
You just don't know how bad I want this. I mean, I want this so bad I can taste it. And I don't think anything's going to stand in the Buffalo Bills' way or my way.
Come Sunday, like I said, if the ball's coming my way, I'm going to do the best I can if I have to dive for it. I've been laying in my room just dreaming about one-hand catches in the end zone, probably a 60-yarder or something. That's my dream.
Good evening, everybody. I'm George Michael, and welcome to Minneapolis, Minnesota, site of Super Bowl XXVI. The Buffalo Bills, Washington Redskins, kickoff time 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. East Coast time. What a game this should be. Here are two teams with the best records in the NFL battling for the World Championship. This is something the Washington Redskins have driven for all year, and as you know, the Buffalo Bills have said way back long ago their only mission was this year to win the Super Bowl. For the Redskins' Joe Gibbs, this will mark his 4th Super Bowl appearance. 4 Super Bowl appearances in 11 years. He has won 2, he has lost 1. He knows victory, he knows defeat. In fact, the Redskins know both. This is their 5th Super Bowl appearance. They've won 2, they've lost 2. To understand where they've been in past Super Bowls, let's go back into the past of time. It started back in January of 1973. The place was out in California in the Coliseum. It was the Redskins and the Miami Dolphins, January 14th, 1973. The only 7 points the Redskins got came as Garo Yepremian proved that he has never been a great volleyball player. You remember this play? Mike Bass would return it for the Redskins' only touchdown of the game. George Allen's squad lost that game 14-7 to the Miami Dolphins. Super Bowl was not kind to the Redskins for 10 years. It would be 10 years that the Redskins would return to the Super Bowl 17. The most famous play of all, January 30th, 1983. John Riggins remembers this one. John Riggins was eligible for the Hall of Fame. This is the one that made the great photo, pulling away from Freeman McNeil. John Riggins goes for the touchdown. It was the greatest game, the most important of Riggins' career.
I know it's a trite question, but let me just ask you the last thing. Is this the biggest win of your life and the most satisfaction of your life in a football game?
Well, I know for a fact it's the biggest win, and to say, I can't, it's hard to say. The satisfaction hasn't come yet. You know, like I said, when they hand out the rings, I think that's when the satisfaction will hit me. But yeah, there's no question it's the biggest win in any sport I've ever been associated with.
John Riggins, Super Bowl MVP. Then came the disaster of Super Bowl XVIII. Theismann throwing to Joe Washington, picked off by Jack Squarick with the most memorable play, yes, even bigger than the Marcus Allen run. Joe Theismann told me just 2 days ago what exactly went wrong on Super Bowl XVIII.
What we showed Coach Gibbs was what you're not supposed to do to prepare for a Super Bowl.
So what did you do wrong that week?
Oh, everything. I mean, I didn't. First, I think my first mistake for me started when I packed my shoes. I didn't pack the shoes I played in. I had some new ones ordered because I was a big star. So I went out and ordered some new shoes, and they were all a half size too big. So when I got to Tampa, every shoe I had was uncomfortable. And that bothered me because I have these little idiosyncrasies. The weather was cold. I expected warm weather. I decided I wanted to go out and party a little bit more than stay in and study. No, I mean, I'm telling you the truth. I took that week for granted. You know, we were the Super Bowl champions. We were supposed to be back. I was the MVP. We were really good. Why would I have to work as hard as I did the year before? This was the mental state that I was in.
Joe Theismann. Folks, have you ever heard him more candid? January 31st, 1988, Doug Williams, to the applause of everyone, hits Ricky Sanders, touchdown. Touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, 35 points in the second quarter. It would be a 42-10 victory. It was, as Doug Williams would say, his 15 moments of glory. It was certainly the most glorious 15 minutes in Super Bowl history. Gary Clark with one of his patented acrobatic touchdowns. Doug Williams has special thoughts about walking off the field after his victory Super Bowl XXII in San Diego.
Well, at that point, Joe, I was saying to myself, I never play another down in football. I think the dream is over. You know, if I don't never play again, it's over. Because I think that's the ultimate goal of any football player. When you play 10 years of professional football and finally make it to the Super Bowl and then win, you know, there's nothing else left. But to do it again, that's if you get the opportunity.
Doug Williams, the man who was the MVP of Super Bowl 22. Mark Rippon is with our cameraman, Dave Silver. If Dave Silver get out of the way, I'd get a comment from Mark Rippon. But like Chuck, our security guard, I can't do. Oh, he didn't have a microphone. Oh, man, what can I tell you, folks? Dave Silver, see, he gets so excited. Mark Rippon walks in, and Dave Silver just falls to pieces. You look terrible. I'll come back after we've gone to commercial. We'll be right back with Mark Rippon when he gets fully dressed.
The Redskins Drive to the Super Bowl is sponsored by Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car. By your neighborhood McDonald's family restaurants. And by new Advanced Formula Mobile One.
Before buying her Saturn coupe, Diane Vincente of Providence, Rhode Island chose not to kick the tires. She did, however, check out the doors.
You know, some people think that football players are just muscle. But we've got brains, too. Yeah, we know a good thing when we see it. Like McDonald's $1.99 Big Mac sandwich and large fries. Yeah! We love the taste, and hey, we see the value. We're no dummies. Yeah! Bon appetit. Bob, take your helmet off.
Get a free cup featuring Charles Mann when you buy a medium Coke Classic or other soft drink while supplies last.
Would you pay $57.99 to see this? Or this? And wouldn't it be worth that much to see something like this? Well, right now, Alamo has the fuel-efficient Geo Metro throughout Florida for just $57.99 a week. And every day, with every car nationwide, only Alamo gives you unlimited free mileage. So you can go anywhere in Florida the road may take you. And even some places, it doesn't.
We drove an engine 200,000 grueling miles using new Mobile One. Then we ripped it apart. What did we find? Nothing. Nothing. Virtually no engine wear. What kept these vital engine parts like new? This part. New Advanced Formula Mobile One. It keeps your engine running like new.
Welcome back to the road to the Super Bowl. The Washington Redskins have made it back here the fourth time in Coach Joe Gibbs' career. Second time for Mark Rippon. You go, wait a minute, Rip, 2 Super Bowls? Tell the folks what you were doing in Super Bowl 22. Did anybody ask you for your autograph in Super Bowl 22?
No, my wife.
How many of you people knew Mark Rippon in Super Bowl 22? I don't want to hear one applaud. See, nobody knew him. Yeah. They all lie. How many of you people knew Mark? How many of you know him now?
You're such a politician.
Hey, you do whatever you got to do. What was it like for you at Super Bowl 22?
That was a lot of fun. I tell you, I think you remember that whole week of practice. You know, we were talking about that the other day, the Reggie Branches and the guys like that. You remember people and the week you had and the fun you had getting prepared for that week.
Coach, you've been interviewed so often that I would imagine about it right now, there isn't anything you haven't really talked about except what kind of joy you will feel when the time comes that Dale Jarrett pulls that checkered flag down in Daytona.
I'm excited about that. That's a different kind of excitement. It seems like a long ways off right now. I think we had good work this week, and I think everybody right now is concentrating on the game. I am too. And I'm up to my normal Friday night. For me, that's a long sleep, to tell you the truth, tonight and tomorrow night.
Did you work these guys unusually hard this year in practice?
No, I don't think so. I think they work themselves. I think we try and push for good practices, hard practices, and I think we had those. But I think the players pushed themselves.
At the Super Bowl, anything can and usually does happen. Let me show you a scene that I found to be most unique this week. That was Buffalo Bills quarterback Jim Kelly actually interviewing Mark Rippon. It took place just aside from us here. Here you have Jim Kelly is a quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. He's got his own TV show. He's interviewing Mark Rippon. And here's kind of what was going on as far as that interview is concerned between these two gentlemen.
Of course, this season, everybody's goal is to, take care of your own conference first, your own division. But once we got into the playoffs, we were looking over our shoulders. We said, if we do get there, the Washington Redskins are probably the team that we're going to face. What was your feelings?
Well, you don't ever say anything because you have to play a lot of the AFC teams next year. But I think deep down in our minds, I think when the season polls came out, all the different Sports Illustrated, everyone banded together to find out who would be in that final game. It's amazing enough that the two teams that are there right now are basically the ones that everyone picked at the beginning of the year. So we kind of had a feeling early on that we'd probably have a chance to face you all, and we're not looking forward to it, let me tell you that.
Yeah, right. Okay, you're just saying that.
The quickest way to get in trouble with Coach Joe Gibbs in July in Carlisle was to suggest to him that this was the year the Redskins were going to the Super Bowl. You remember not being exact? I mean, Coach, Joe Gibbs gave me one of these. What are you talking about? What are you?
That's right.
Huh?
It's been 3 years. We hadn't even won a division, and I got mad when people were talking about it because to me it didn't make sense. We were trying to win a division and beat the Giants, and everybody was talking. Some people were talking about Super Bowl. Everybody wasn't, and it did get me upset because I didn't think it made sense at the time.
Did you have any idea in July that you could be where you are tonight?
Well, you get a sense of what type of a team you have by the guys staying around in the off season, competing for jobs, getting ready to go out and work like they want to make it to a Super Bowl. But I don't think you ever you have the knowledge or the facts there that's saying, hey, this is a team that's going to go. I think it took a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication, a lot of guys coming together as a team that made us to get where we're at right now.
Do you know, earlier this week, Coach, I don't know if you remember this, but there was an article in USA Today, only at the Super Bowl would an article like this come out, talking about the fact that Mark Rippon won't get any ad endorsements because he is, I wrote some of these down here, it says that he is basically, has a funny haircut, he's only average looking, and he lacks charisma. And they said as far as Gibbs, we already know he'll never get it, he's been doing it for 11 years. Mark's wife, Annette, grabbed me today, and she said, my husband is not bad looking, he's at least average. She only gave you an average.
She said you were going to bring that up too. She had pre-warned me prior to this. She said I was an average guy. She didn't say anything about average looking. She says I'm a great looking guy, of course. My whole family thinks I'm a good looking guy.
Does it bother you that your guys aren't all super mega stars with all TV cameras around doing commercials instead of concentrating on football?
Passes, I'm below average. But no, I don't think, I think sometimes, I think people may miss the boat a little bit too on some people. I think it remains to be seen what kind of job Rip's going to do selling some things, and people might be surprised, really.
Let's go to another completely different subject. That is that the Buffalo Bills have openly stated that they don't think that Mark Rippon can win Super Bowl. But they say they will shut down the run, and it will be up to Rippon to do it. So I thought we'd get some comment from a couple of the Buffalo Bills. Let's start with the guys who are going to be coming right at Mark Rippon. First of all, as you know, they did get to John Elway. They beat him up, especially Cornelius Bennett. Cornelius Bennett was one of those that had a good game. Jackson was good. And do I need to tell you, of course, that you also had a couple of sacks from Bruce Smith. But really, it was Cornelius Bennett who was constantly coming from that linebacking position, getting right in on John Elway and also Steve DeBerg the previous week. Here's their thoughts on Mark Rippon and the Skins.
Definitely, it's shown in the past. And I think that's why they resorted to a seven-man, maximum protection. But it's going to be a tough, it's going to be tough getting to him. But if anybody can get to him, we can.
I don't know. I don't know if he can really rattle this guy. I mean, he's a big, strong quarterback that sits in the pocket. If he has to, he'll sit there and take the licks. But the guy seems, at times, he seems to be unflappable at the things he does. And this year, he's put on some phenomenal numbers and phenomenal things.
Now, I played that for you because Cornelius Bennett and Darryl Talley both say how great Mark Rippon is, and yet all the off-record comments were, no way Rip can do it. Do you surely are not oblivious to the fact that the Bills have said, we'll stop the run and then let's see if Rippon can do it. You know that, right?
Well, that's in any defense, that's a big part of their scheme is if they can stop our run and contain our running game, it'll have a burden and put pressure on us in the passing game. But we feel we have athletes that can respond in both categories. So we're looking forward to the challenge. You hear little things throughout the week that kind of get you motivated in different ways. And I think the one thing that we understand is we respect their defensive team. We respect the guys and the athletes that they have. But in the same token, because that respect means we're going to go out there and our work's going to be cut out for us, and we're going to play with that in mind.
Do you go right before kickoff? They said that even to the last hour and a half before a game, you can be redoing your game plan so you have it absolutely memorized the way you want it to be and revising it. Do you go over and you say, now Rip, don't turn the ball over. Make sure it's wearing a white jersey.
Yeah, that works. Don't make any mistake. Now look, when you go out there, don't do anything, Rip. I don't think that really works. I think the players have to. Somebody made a good comment. I think it was a great one. I was talking about, I said, gosh, I'm really up for this. And I think Peck said, Larry Peccatello said, hey, it's a good thing the players don't get as uptight as we do. They wouldn't be able to do a thing. It'd be like this by the time I get there. So the players seem to have an ability to let it all kind of bounce off them. They go out, they look forward to playing. And I tell you the truth, I wish I was good enough to play. I'd much rather play than do what I'm doing. And before the game, what I'm really doing there is kind of rewrite some of the final thoughts that I have of ways that I want to kind of start the game, you know, and play selection, that type of thing. It's not as much memorizing, but it's kind of reworking a little bit. And I do that right up to the last second because you continue to have thoughts, you know, I think all the way to the last second.
Coach Joe Gibbs, Mark Rippon will be back here in Minneapolis, site of Super Bowl 26, as we continue with Road to the Super Bowl, and we'll talk about what the computer says. The computer has already picked the winner with all the statistics as we continue.
Join TWA's Business Flyer Award Program and get back cash. 15% of your fare in cash every time you save your company money by flying on TWA's qualifying low business flyer fares. 15% to you in cash or in TWA reward dollars you can use like cash to purchase TWA tickets and TWA getaway vacations. For limited time free enrollment, call TWA at 1-800-892-4141.
Blockbuster Video gives you more movies and more copies. Now rent any 3 and get a Domino's Pizza savings book worth over $10 free. So check out this hot deal and this hot new release.
2 weeks, the 3 of us, driving cattle.
What, like in a truck? No, it's a real old-fashioned cattle drive.
Yeehaw! City Slickers, rated PG-13, a Castle Rock Entertainment release from New Line Home Video. Rent 3 movies at Blockbuster and get a Domino's savings book free.
Feeling good about the people who sold him his Saturn, Cutbank, Montana rancher Jim Bishop throws a barbecue.
The world watches as the countdown begins on this unprecedented occasion. DHL International. The tension here is great.
This is it?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
A world speed record, 16,000 destinations overseas overnight. DHL, faster to more of the world.
Mark Rippon was just telling us he's got his entire entourage, his cousins from Canada. Obviously, they brought with them a great snow. We are right now in the midst of a mini blizzard. Had we known it was going to happen, we'd have a camera outside to show you, which we'll do later tonight. But it is blowing like mad. We are in the midst of about 10 degrees, and it is snowing like a banshee. You guys, all your Canadian friends like to bring this cold weather in here, don't they?
Well, see, they enjoy this type of weather for a Super Bowl. Most people like to get away to the sunshine. They're all excited to come down here to the snow.
Have you concentrated more by having it in a cold weather?
Yeah, I haven't been able to do much, you know. You've basically been sitting around your room,
Coach
going
Gibbs
down. And
told me you guys can get in trouble in the middle of the desert.
You probably can, but I haven't seen any of it so far.
Coach, couple of technical questions. Terry Hogue replaces Alvin Walton. Alvin says, I hope I'm not here next year. They don't need me. They don't want me. I want to get a trade.
Well, I didn't hear any of that. I'll talk to Alvin, and you know, he didn't say anything like that to me, and we'll talk about it in the off season and see what we think is best for the football team and him.
Terry Hogue, he was out. Terry Hogue, I should tell you, broke his arm in Game 7. The Redskins were counting so much on this man, a Plan B acquisition. You now go to him. Is it because of the passing game coming up?
No, actually, Terry Hogue is the difference there is Terry Hogue's a free safety, and that's where we're the thinnest. And in our preparation and everything, we're playing a lot of corners right now and not playing strong safeties, which is the reason why Alvin's not active. Alvin plays strong safety, and he's very much like a middle linebacker. He plays running type teams, you know, and that's when we need Alvin, and it makes sense. We're not facing that kind of a team.
I'd like to ask you both to watch the monitor. I want to show you something, and I hope this works because I've not even seen this. Rip, I want you to watch this. I want to show you how Jim Kelly drops back, and then I want to show you how Mark Rippon drops back. Jim Kelly, as near as we can tell, takes basically a 3+1 step drop. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and then he turns, plants on the right foot, so we call it 3+1 for a shuffle, which basically amounts to certainly no more than a 4-step drop. By contrast, Mark Rippon will take the snap. As he starts his drop back, there's a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He really doesn't want the defense to get near him. Is that an unusually deep? I'll go to Coach Gibbs on this first. Is that an unusually deep drop? Do I miscount it? Or is it not fact that Rip takes almost twice as many steps back as does Jim Kelly?
Those are two different kinds of passes. One was a short type play action, which Kelly was throwing, and Rip was throwing what we throw a counter pass, which takes a full drop, which he'll be back as much as 10 yards on that.
So in other words, Coach, what we did absolutely had nothing to do with anything.
That was stupid. I don't know who did that, but you've been working on this this morning,
yeah? You guys have been doing good.
Well, I'll tell you, it's 10 degrees and snowing like bench. You do take twice as many steps back as Kelly, correct?
We have 3-step drops, we have 5-step drops, we have 7-step drops, just as they do. You know, we have all sorts of drops and all sorts of different
I have no idea whose idea it was we discussed this, but we sure ain't going to discuss this one, anyone. That's like Gibbs going to his coaches, can't we run this play off that formation? Or going, gee, what formation? All right, Super Bowl 22. Doug Williams was a man who had everything go his way. Surely, Rip, in your mind, you've allowed yourself the luxury of seeing everything go your way Sunday afternoon.
I think you envision yourself playing well. That's you know, there's no hiding that fact. I think the bottom line is going out there and letting it all hang out, playing the best you can, and this is a one-shot deal. You know, don't leave anything at home. I think we all feel that way. We all understand the job at hand, and if we can play with those regards, we're going to have a good chance.
Do you know at all if you had a sprained ankle? I mean, do you feel any ill effects at all from it?
It's funny. I mean, it was kind of like my nail, you know. I had a silly old nail, now I have a silly old ankle that I thought at that point in time was a lot worse than it was. It didn't swell up. There was no structural damage again. Hoping something's at least wrong with it, but actually it's fine. I practice all day today, and it feels real good.
From what distance will you let Chip Miller kick a field goal? He says he can go 64 yards.
I think it depends on the situation. Right before half, we might do something like 64, 65 yards, because I think Chip is capable of hitting those, particularly in this environment. But if it's you know, a different situation where we run the risk of turning the ball over out there, we'll think twice about that. There'll probably be a pooch punch and stuff like that. It would depend on the situation in the game.
Let me show you a piece of tape that maybe you have not seen before. This is from when we were back scouting Chip Lohmiller. This will take you all the way back. I think it's 1986. It could be 87. So if I'm wrong on that, forgive me. But let's go back to University of Minnesota, right here to the Metrodome. Many of you may not realize this is where Chip Lohmiller is from. This is his home, and this was a game back in 1987, a 62-yard field goal that won the game for the University of Minnesota, and it went with at least 9 or 10 more yards to spare. Chip Lohmiller says, hey, folks, if Coach Gibbs will give me the football, I'm going to put it through the uprights.
It's possible. You know, of course, you got to have the right situation before half, and Coach Gibbs has got to, you know, I have to let him know that I really want to try it, but it all depends on the situation, and the situation, you know, rarely occurs, but if it does, I'll be excited.
If the situation occurs, how far?
I could probably go back to, you know, in the low 60s, maybe even, you know, 63, 64. But I've kicked a couple 66-yarders in there in warm-up, so it'll be exciting. It's very possible.
Jan Stenerud holds the record, Super Bowl VI. He hit one from 48 yards rather. He says that Chip Lohmiller will break his record Sunday. 66 yards, Chip Lohmiller says, Coach.
66 yards, man alive, that's a long ways out there. I don't know. Chip, if he misses it, he just goes, I didn't hit that one. I'm the one in trouble there because they got the ball going the other way, and the defense is mad.
Do you come off the field saying, Coach, let him go for it?
Hey, that's out of my hands.
Guys, I got a shirt for you, Coach. I want to thank you for being our guest tonight. First of all, I should tell you that on Friday night before the Super Bowl, Joe Gibbs likes to sleep. I have to thank his wife, Pat. These are two of the most unique shirts I have ever seen. If you'll take the cover off. Joe, this is a replica of the 1942 Washington Redskins jersey. It's got their world champion emblem on it. It's from the Hall of Fame, and it's made by a fellow by the name of Rick Tiedemann. He's from over in Fairfax Station. I hope you'll enjoy it. Craig Tiedemann. I said it, Rick, earlier. Craig Tiedemann. That's a beautiful shirt, right?
It is pretty.
Anyway, that, and then I got to have this other one. Rip, this is a lady. What are we doing here? Annette, I know Annette is up to this. This is the work of Annette Rippon.
How you doing,
I don't
man?
believe this.
Let's say hail to the Redskins.
What is her name, Rip?
Amber.
First star in the family, right?
Yep.
This is from a lady over in Fairfax Station. These are made by Mark Rippon's friends over in Virginia. Jeanette Patterson is her name. They're called it's thermo T-shirts. You're familiar with those folks, right?
Oh, yeah.
Amber, that's your dad. Be nice to him, and he might let you wear it sometime. Amber, thank your mom. I know she said, I'm going to go show George up. I'll just put a beautiful woman on that show. Coach Gibbs, thank you for joining us. The best of luck to you, and we'll talk to you after the game on Sunday.
Great.
All right,
Thank you.
Joe.
Thanks.
Mark Rippon.
Thank you, George.
Thank
Appreciate
you for being
it.
with us.
You
Amber,
bet.
you're the best. Back with what the fans think, and then we'll get Fred Stokes and his home videos. We continue with a road to the Super Bowl. Gentlemen, thank you both.
After you've put in a full week at work and dealt with the frantic pace of life, it's finally time for delivery of the old Sunday paper. Maybe it's time for a change.
There are only two kinds of music. The not-so-classic and the classic. Not-so-classic, classic. Not so classic. Classic. And nothing rocks like classic rock. 105.9 WCXR.
Hey, isn't that Calvin?
I haven't seen him for a while. Wonder where he's heading.
I heard he got a job.
Oh, is that right? Well, it's about time he got himself together.
Now that you mention it, there is something different about him.
Well, just goes to show you can't judge a book by its cover now.
Looks like responsibility has been good for him.
Well, I'm just glad somebody believed in him enough to give him a chance.
Wonder where he's working.
Welcome to McDonald's. May I help you?
Shar Gilcher of Bemidji, Minnesota, does her part to check inflation.
To those people still reading the Post, I'd ask, still watching black and white TV?
Call 202-636-3333 for home delivery of the Washington Times.
Welcome back to Minneapolis, side of Super Bowl. Come here, you can't do that. Side of Super Bowl 26. Annette Rippon, whether she wanted to or not, is stepping in. You don't have a microphone, so just yell to me, my dear.
Okay.
How nervous is your husband?
He's not. He's confident.
What's his wife think?
Very confident.
Would you like to find the writer that said he's just average and everything else, huh?
No. I'll stay away out of the press.
Thanks for putting Amber on the show, Annette. Bye.
Just had to get you.
Just had to get you. Good. We're good, close personal friends. Speaking of good, close personal friends, let's go out to National Airport. Doreen, we are getting a blizzard here. We're told we're going to get a couple inches, and I know you're getting wind out of D.C.
Yeah, we have a lot of wind. It's very cold standing out here at National Airport. This is one of several departure points all over the area where Redskin fans have been leaving all day and all night tonight. Those departures were led by Redskins owner Jack Kent Cooke and a lot of his friends. The passengers on Cook's chartered United Airlines 747 included dozens of Washington movers and shakers. D.C. Mayor Sharon Pratt Kelly and her husband were there. The well-heeled crowd started arriving about 8:30, loaded down with luggage for the weekend trip. Some sported Redskin colors, but the fashion of this day was fur and more fur. The mood, cautious optimism, starting with the team's owner.
Everything tells me we ought to win and that we ought to come back with the Super Bowl trophy.
but who knows? It's all in the lap of the gods at this point.
Other well-known fans were a little more definite in their prediction about a Skins victory.
31-17, Redskins.
Well, maybe 31-17.
I don't see how they're going to lose. I really think they're just flat out better. 3 touchdowns.
Two other big shots in our view anyway, who were Super Bowl bound, were the twins who were voted News 4's most rabid Redskin fans, Nadine and Adine Smith.
Go Redskins!
Some others went in style too. Bill Phillips and 14 of his closest friends arrived at Union Station in a limousine, then boarded 2 classic train cars they rented and attached to a train bound for Minnesota.
I think it's going to be a party almost all of the way. No, all of the way.
And tonight, the Redskins fans were still leaving from National Airport.
Go Skins!
As the crowd boarded the airplane, they got a VIP welcome aboard.
This is the gold standard right here. The U.S. currency should be based on these. Going to the show, man. These were purchased in October. Am I a loyal fan? Do I know a team that's a winner? We're going to the show. Go Skins.
There's a fan with a lot of confidence. Hard to miss those Redskins fans here at National Airport tonight. Those people were on the last direct flight out of here at 8:15 tonight. Northwest Airlines has the most flights from National to Minneapolis, 16 today. They tell me there were some problems with overbooking, but everybody who wanted to leave from Minneapolis today was able to leave. And George, those departures will continue from here right up through Sunday.
Doreen,
yeah.
Jack Kent Cook's favorite broadcaster of all time, Doreen Ginsler. It must have made you feel like a million to listen to Jack Kent Cook saying that you were the rock-solid foundation of the News 14.
You know what I really enjoyed was when he kind of left you speechless. That was my favorite part of that interview. Hey George, can I add my prediction? Everybody else is making theirs.
I was just about to ask you. You've been listening to this all week. What do you surmise?
I think the Redskins will win big by like 20 points. That's my prediction.
Yo, Gibbs, Doreen just said you'll win by 20. He likes that, Doreen. That makes him just real happy.
Confidence is high, George.
Doreen, we'll talk to you a little bit later tonight. We come back 2 hours later. Remember, News 4 tonight will not be at 11. It instead will be at midnight. And folks, I know you can't see it, so it's kind of hard for you to understand. The snow is blowing so much. We are located by a swimming pool here. Of course, the pool is closed for all the TV and whatnot. But snow is actually, you see this, Eric? Snow is actually falling through the walls and the sunlight's up above. This is the most bizarre thing I have ever seen. We'll be back with Fred Stokes and his home videos as we continue with this special Road to the Super Bowl. Jim Kelly also coming up.
Blockbuster Video gives you more movies and more copies. Now rent any 3 and get a Domino's Pizza savings book worth over $10 free. So check out this hot deal and this hot new release.
2 weeks, the 3 of us, driving cattle.
What, like in a truck? No, it's a real old-fashioned cattle drive.
Yeehaw! City Slickers, rated PG-13, a Castle Rock Entertainment release from New Line Home Video. Rent 3 movies at Blockbuster and get a Domino's savings book free.
You hear it all the time. Well, I got it. A new Toyota Camry.
I thought you wanted a bigger car.
It is.
No, I mean like a Taurus or an old Cutlass or something.
I checked them out. But the new Camry's every bit as big. It's got more power than before, and Camrys hold their value. I love it.
Wait a minute, this sounds like a completely different car.
Toyota value. It really is the best deal going.
We drove an engine 200,000 grueling miles using new Mobil 1. Then we ripped it apart. What did we find? Nothing. Nothing. Virtually no engine wear. What kept these vital engine parts like new? This part. New Advanced Formula Mobil 1. It keeps your engine running like new.
Would you pay $57.99 to see this? Or this? And wouldn't it be worth that much to see something like this? Well, right now, Alamo has the fuel-efficient Geo Metro throughout Florida for just $57.99 a week. And every day, with every car nationwide, only Alamo gives you unlimited free mileage. So you can go anywhere in Florida the road may take you. And even some places, it doesn't.
Welcome back to this road to the Super Bowl. The Washington Redskins, the Buffalo Bills, Sunday afternoon, 6 p.m., Super Bowl 26 in the Metrodome. We're expecting snow throughout the night tonight and then snow beginning again Sunday evening. They say the biggest problem will probably be getting away from the dome come Sunday night. Also, the big problem, of course, and we'll have a story for you on the news at midnight tonight, is all the corporate and private jets that will be trying to get out of here. Some 2,000 jets will be trying to get out of here Sunday evening. That's an awful lot of traffic for this metropolitan airport. A couple of facts regarding this Super Bowl. Number one, the Redskins started off as 6.5-point favorites. It then went to 7. They are now 7.5, and that's where it is tonight. 7.5-point favorite are the Redskins over the Buffalo Bills. If you want to say, well, gee, isn't the artificial surf, isn't the indoors, isn't that going to favor the Buffalo Bills? A couple of statistics for you. Number one, the Redskins have played twice in the Metrodome against the Vikings. They've won both games. The Buffalo Bills have never played in the Metrodome. The Redskins have played 11 games indoors. The Redskins are 9-2 indoors. The Buffalo Bills are 7-14 indoors. So to those of us who thought that maybe the Bills would have the edge because of the AstroTurf playing indoors, we can forget that. It obviously puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback by the name of Jim Kelly. There are those who say if Jim Kelly is ever to be a great quarterback, he has to win this game. I talked to him earlier for this Road to the Super Bowl special. Let's join that conversation now. Do you feel that the fans of Buffalo absolutely expect you to win this Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think so. I think they feel that we've already had our one chance and we let that one slide by. I think they expected us to win. We expect us to win. You look at the Washington Redskins, I'm sure they expect themselves to win. But the way we look at it is, you don't get a second opportunity many times, and this is number 2, and you got to make the best of it right now.
Joe Theismann told me this morning that there's more pressure on you personally because you are the symbol of the Bills, and you got him here last year. They expected you to win. You didn't do it. That Jim Kelly bears the brunt of this pressure.
Well, the way I look at it is the only pressure you have is the pressure you put on yourselves. The way I look at it, you just have to go out there and do your thing, and whatever happens, happens. People can say that, but in my own mind, I know I got some good people around me, some talent around me, and if we win as a team. If we lose as a team. And I as the offensive quarterback, as the leader, as the so-called offense coordinator, I do call the play. So a lot of burden is on myself to produce and put points on the board, which we feel we might have to do.
Ricky Sanders said that when you were with the Gamblers that he could run a hitch in the championship game. You said, let's score a touchdown. You simply called it, and it was a touchdown. That's something you have to do. You have to ad-lib a little bit. And I've had a habit of doing that every once in a while, and thank God the majority of the time it's always worked out. But Ricky brings back a lot of good memories from the USFL days, and I think the reason I'm here today is because of those days. A lot of learning, a lot of fun went into it, but again, this is a business, but you got to have fun doing it too. Jim Kelly says you better have fun with this because you're only going to go around once. But the fact is, there are those who say that if you don't win the Super Bowl, you never be considered a great quarterback. Terry Bradshaw told him, Fred Stokes, he said, Jim, you don't win the Super Bowl, you'll never be a great quarterback. Is that fair?
I don't think it's fair at all. I was talking to somebody the other day, and it takes a lot to get to this point. I think both teams, when they get here, are winners, and that's an old deal, but it should be something set up for everybody else that doesn't win the game. Do you realize that Fred Stokes, Eric Williams, don't look like I'm putting pressure on you, Tim Johnson, and of course Charles Mann, if you guys don't stop this man here that I want to show you on tape, namely Thurman Thomas, most valuable player in the NFL, you guys don't stop him, you can't win the Super Bowl.
Well, he's in the same mode as the guy we played last week. He can go all the way at any time. And again, if you don't tackle him and wrap him up, we saw films all week where he's just breaking tackles. Guys just diving at him and missing. And you know what? I think we had an advantage not having Barry Sanders on turf. Not having Barry Sanders, you mean if he'd have been on AstroTurf, it would have been a different game. So you've got Thurman Thomas now on AstroTurf. And it's scary. We know we're going to have our hands full when we get to him, so it's almost kind of one of those deals we had to do with Barry. Corner him in, don't give him anywhere to run, everybody just play their position, and I think we can hold him. You are not considered to be a pass rusher as much. I mean, of course you are a pass rusher, but you're not a guy that gets 10, 12 sacks, every couple of weeks. But you guys have containment. Right. Do you work on the idea of don't get beat, don't get burned? With guys like this, you do. I mean, you can't commit too much because if you do, he'll burn you.
I mean, if you dive at him, he's going to back up, he's going to run around you. So, yeah, we play a little bit more cautiously with the Thurman Thomas or the guy who played last week. Barry Sanders. You don't want to do too much, too quick with those guys.
I got to ask you a question. It has nothing to do with football. Folks, for those of you who don't know it, Fred Stokes has been making this home video all week, which we'll get to in a second. But is doing it because his wife, Regina, is expecting a baby on Tuesday. Now, this got to take a second to explain. There have been mice running around the Fred Stokes household. Well, there's an old saying, this comes from Don Stumple's wife, who said, if the mice run around the house, that means you're going to have the baby in 2 days. That would mean she's going to have the baby tonight or tomorrow. Fred, that's not going to happen.
You're making me nervous again.
No, don't say I'm making you nervous, man. Seriously, what did she say?
I didn't tell her. I didn't want to tell her. She said she had pains last night. She really said she had pains last night. Her best friend is up here. She said a couple of days before she had the baby, she had pains. So I'm looking for a call anytime, man.
Fred Stokes, ready for Super Bowl 26, really ready for anything when you're thinking about your first. We'll go through his home video when we come back in just a moment and continue this road to the Super Bowl, live from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
DHL was making express deliveries overseas before Federal Express was even in business. With a head start like that, we can simply do things others can't. DHL, faster to more of the world.
It's Domino's Double Up Deal.
Domino's, you're double hungry. Domino's, the deal for you.
2 medium pizzas, your favorite topping, just $10.99. Now get a delicious double helping of Domino's. 2 fresh, hot, medium pizzas, each with 1 topping, just $10.99. Delivered in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed. And nobody else can say that.
Nobody like Domino's. Domino's Double Up Deal.
TWA introduces low business flyer fares for business travelers who are really serious about saving money. Fly coast to coast with these low TWA fares on first class, business class, or coach, or connect to 60 cities through TWA's convenient St. Louis hub. You can also take advantage of TWA's low business flyer fares to Europe. All fares are refundable without the usual penalties and restrictions. For reservations, call your travel agent or TWA at 1-800-221-2000.
You hear it all the time.
Hey, Dad, it's Mr. Williams.
Hi, Sarah. Hey, Frank. Saw the new car.
Oh, my Corolla.
Another Toyota, huh?
Yeah, we like the last one, so why change?
We like the new one, too.
Besides, I got a great deal on it.
You should go in, Mr. Williams.
Oh, I don't know what I'd get for my car.
You should have bought a Toyota.
Toyota value. It really is the best deal going.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am not a fan of computers. However, the NFL this is Prologue League computer. They played 1,380 times the Buffalo Bills versus the Redskins with all their current players. This is what they came up with. The Redskins will win the game 34-31. Buffalo will have 143 yards rushing. The Skins will have only 108. Mark Rippenhover will complete 24 of 36 passes, 336 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jim Kelly will throw 4 touchdowns, but 1 interception. Chip Lohmiller will hit the game-winning field goal. How close is the computer?
Do they have any sacks in there? How many sacks? I want to know.
That's what I like, is a man who's interested in the priorities. Have you guys seen that, or do you talk about it at all?
I saw it in the paper for the first time today, and can they guarantee that?
No, they can't.
What is that? What is?
I don't know. They feed everything they know about you into this computer, and then this thing comes out and it says, here's how you win or lose.
You know, that's all this stuff, some more stuff that they like to put on paper, just adding the numbers up, kind of putting guys up against one another. I was reading some stuff about Jim Lachey going up against Bruce Smith.
Right.
You know, that kind of deal. I think that's on the same level.
It's Super Bowl time, man. You know these things are going to come up. Fred, we're going to start with Monty Coleman.
Okay.
What has this been like this week, making this home videotape for Regina?
You know, some guys have been great, and then you get some other guys that see the camera and they just go all to pieces. But I think we got some good stuff on here. I think some good stuff on here.
Let's start. Monty Coleman, on Fred Stokes' home video. So, Monty, you're going to the Super Bowl.
Taking with you? I was going to Disney. I'm going to Walt Disney.
Monty doesn't know where he's going. All right, start us off here.
That's the crowd right there. That's just as we're leaving.
And this was when? Monday, right?
That was Monday, and we had great crowd support out there. I could not believe it. This little girl came on the bus just as we were going to pull off, and they were hollering, "Let's roll, let's roll." And somebody says the little girl going with us. She almost went with us. Of course, you see all the police there, and we were going over to Dulles. I remind you, about a mile away. Kurt Gavell always has something special for the camera. He's not shy at all.
Let's hear what we get here from these guys.
Mark, what's in the business thing? Get off that shit with his brother.
Tim Johnson. Now, he's one of the bashful ones.
He was covering up because he was eating.
Mark Rippon calling his agent. Let's see what he says. With the help of the national anthem, we go to day 2. Matt Millen is the man with the rubber shoes. What's the story here?
Matt's a very special guy. You know, it takes a special guy to go. Of course, we got a little hidden camera there. Some people now look back up and he was gone.
Here's Tim.
What's in here? What is that in there?
That's a close-up shot right there.
I don't understand. One day he's bashful, the next day he's back at it. Daryl Green, now we didn't understand all this. What is this here, Fred?
These guys were trying to get a special shot there on the 50-yard line. Those are strength guys, and you see where their minds are. We had a little free time on our hand, and every time we get a chance, Charles Mann and Monty like to play a little hoops.
Who's better, Charles Mann or Monty?
Where's Charles? Monty's a little better. Monty's a little better.
Oh, this was the other night on the set here. This is your favorite
Check George out. Very relaxed.
We can grow.
Ernest Miner says, I want to see that on the air. That's the basis for a lawsuit. Gary Clark at the press conference.
He said he needed a psychiatrist. He was stressed out.
Best picture you've taken all week?
Yes.
I'm play-by-play guy. I will lead the play-by-play at Super Bowl XXVI.
Hi, Regina! I miss you! We love you! Bye-bye!
Who all were those ladies, aside from Desiree Monk?
Tim Johnson's wife, and also Monty Coleman's wife. And here's Elvis.
I have a feeling Elvis will be back. Who are these guys?
These are our Minutemen. They call themselves the Minutemen because they get all the minutes. This is EB's, Ernest Biner's little girl did this for him. She tries to do something special for him every game.
All right, now she sent along the notes, and this is still something, Fred, people don't understand. What is this helmet?
This is what we call the bucket head. Now, why they awarded this to Charles Mann, I don't know. But it didn't fit for some reason, so they wanted to try it on somebody else.
So
and
who
here's
did it
Tim
fit?
Johnson. He was trying to see if he can come out of stance on Sunday with that helmet on, and I don't think it's going to work.
The Eric Williams. What happened here?
I was going to get a piece on him, but as you see here later, Charles moved his hair back, and I got a blur on my camera, so I couldn't. There it is right there, spotlight.
Here comes Mark Addix. Elvis is alive. Here we go.
When I can't believe a word you're saying, we can't go on together with suspicious minds, and we can't build our dreams on suspicious lies.
What do you think? I mean, all of his career, he always wanted to be a professional football player, but Mark Addix would really like to come out here right now with a guitar and get it on for us,
I think he'd be great. He'd be great. If he could get the notes right, he'd be outstanding. Put a little music on in the background, let him lip sync it, he'd be great.
Fred Stokes will come back in just a couple of seconds with a final thought as to what the Redskins have to do and what the Bills have to do to win Super Bowl number 26 as we continue with this road to the Super Bowl.
Toyota trucks. Toyota Lee awesome. That's why Toyota is the #1 selling import truck in America. Toyota Lee satisfied owners make Toyota America's #1 truck line in customer satisfaction. Toyota tough. Don't settle for anything less than Toyota dependability. Go ahead, break out of the ordinary. See your Toyota dealer today for Toyota Value, the best deal going.
Would you pay $57.99 to see this? Or this? And wouldn't it be worth that much to see something like this? Well, right now, Alamo has the fuel-efficient Geo Metro throughout Florida for just $57.99 a week. And every day, with every car nationwide, only Alamo gives you unlimited free mileage. So you can go anywhere in Florida the road may take you. And even some places, it doesn't.
We drove an engine 200,000 grueling miles using new Mobil 1. Then, we ripped it apart. What did we find? Nothing. Nothing. Virtually no engine wear. What kept these vital engine parts like new? This part. New Advanced Formula Mobil 1. It keeps your engine running like new.
Blockbuster Video gives you more movies and more copies. Now rent any 3 and get a Domino's Pizza savings book worth over $10 free. So check out this hot deal and this hot new release.
2 weeks, the 3 of us. Driving cattle.
What, like in a truck? No, it's a real old-fashioned cattle drive.
Yeehaw! City Slickers, rated PG-13, a Castle Rock Entertainment release from New Line Home Video. Rent 3 movies at Blockbuster and get a Domino's savings book free.
The Redskins Drive to the Super Bowl has been sponsored by Blockbuster Video, by your Toyota dealer and Toyota Value, and by Alamo Rent-A-Car.
Welcome back to Minneapolis, Minnesota, site of Super Bowl XXVI. I'm George Michael, along with Fred Stokes earlier, Joe Gibbs, Mark Rippon, Jim Kelly, and Fred just said, is it raining in here? What is going on? No, it is snowing in here. This is the most unusual thing I've ever seen. It's filtering through the cracks in the building. This is a true Minnesota quick snowstorm. Fred, of course, weather has no part in Super Bowl XXVI. Did you realize the Redskins had a better record playing indoors than the Buffalo Bills did?
I didn't know that until Tuesday or Wednesday, and they mentioned that.
So this advantage of the Buffalo Bills, obviously, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. You know, leading up to games, I hate when they get into that technical stuff. It makes you start thinking too much. And anytime you talk about a guy who hasn't missed a free throw, a guy who hasn't missed a field goal. Other night I was watching a basketball game. Guy shot 20 free throws in a row. Time to mention he missed one. That's what I know about stats.
Fred Stokes has been called delightfully the garbage man, because if there's something lying around worth having, by golly, he gets it just like he did against the Detroit Lions a couple of weeks ago. What do the Redskins have to do to contain Thurman Thomas and at least keep Jim Kelly respectable?
I think everybody has to play their position. We have a lot going on for this game. If things go wrong, don't get too crazy. We have to keep communicating. That's what got us here. Darryl Green, Wilbur Marsh, and Charles Mann, those guys have been communicating to the rest of us very well. If we do that on Sunday, I think we have a great time out there.
What does the Redskins offense have to do with the Buffalo Bills?
Have a hog game, meaning the Hogs have to get busy, drive the ball down the field.
Do you really think it'll come down to you guys' ability to run the ball?
I think so. I think so, because their defense is really keyed up and they're tough. And if our offense can move the ball on them, eat up some time on the clock, I think we'll be all right.
Listen, just between you, me, and Regina, pretend nobody else is listening, Fred. Don't think about that 1.6 million people who are listening. Just between you, me, and Regina. You guys mind all the talk coming from the Buffalo Bills defense?
Between me and you, Regina?
Yeah.
No, we don't mind.
You lie like a rug. You lie like a rug. There's the Redskins Dirt Band, folks. Let's celebrate Super Bowl.
The kick is good. First down, Redskins. And Mullen stop. Pass complete to Martin Mullen. Touchdown.
Celebrate the Super Bowl.
It's a celebration.
Celebrate the Skins. Come on.
There's a party going on right here. A celebration that lasted the whole year. It was the Redskins showing what they could do. We're going to the show and we're going to win it too. Come on now. Celebration. We're going to beat the Bills just like we beat the Lions. The The Skins have won together. They've been the best no matter what the weather.
The Super Skins will show the world. Come on, come on. The defense gets the sacks.
Come on,
come on. The posse will attack.
Come on.
We got super running backs.
We're going to the show and
we like it like that.
Now all year long, the Skins beat the rest. No matter who they played, their record was the best. The Bills think they're tough, but after the show, the Skins will make them wish they stayed in Buffalo. Come on,
come on, the Super Bowl is where it's at.
The Redskins all the way, and
we like it like that.
Ooh, the Skins are lifting us higher to #1, where we've been before. They've kept it up, they've shown their desire. They're hitting hard, and they know how to score. I say those Skins
keep lifting us,
on lifting.
They're really driving us
higher.
They take us higher and
higher,
higher.
This game is played for one reason, to show the world who is #1. Now the Skins have done it all season. When it's over, we'll be champions. We got it now. You better
celebrate the Super Bowl.
Hail to the Skins.
Monty Coleman, little celebration, higher and higher. I like it like that. It's a Skins Dirt Band. Let's get a final thought here or two from Fred Stokes. Fred, you've worked all your career. People don't realize it, but you were not a football player in high school nor in college until your senior year.
Right.
Now that you are here, what is this week like?
It's everything I've heard it would be like. The media, the excitement, the build-up, the hype, just everything. And I can't imagine what the game's going to be like. Charles been trying to get me to think about it all week, and I told him no.
What do you mean you don't want to think about it?
Because just imagine, this is an international game, not a national game. And that's what Charles was telling me in the locker room. He said, Fred, do you realize people all over the world watching this game? I said, I don't even want to think about it. So
Charles likes it like that.
He does. He really does.
Charles Mann gets to a point in time where I feel that in this game he has to have one of those great games. They say for the Bills to win, Bruce Smith has to have the game of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Charles Mann has to have another game like he did against the Lions.
You know what? I think he will. He realizes what the game means. He did last week. He realized what it meant last week to get here. Now he knows what it means to win. I think if everybody looked for Charles Mann to have a great game, he's going to have one.
Do you expect the Bills to come out firing or start it off on the ground to feel you out?
I don't know. I would think they would want to come out firing. That's what got him here. So I don't think they want to come out and change too much.
Will the Redskins come out firing on the first play and then go to the ground game? Or do you already know and you can't say?
Mom's the word.
Oh, man. You know, Fred, you're telling me nothing that I want to know. Fred Stokes, thank you so much.
Okay,
Home video, appreciate it. Whatever you shoot now is purely confidential between you, Regina, and anything that we can steal from you.
Now I can get busy.
I knew that was going to happen. Folks, I want to thank you sincerely for joining us tonight. Joe Gibbs, Mark Rippon, myself, our director, Chuck Teller, out here in Minneapolis, back in the studio, Marion Wiggum, and everybody who's helped put this show together, I say thank you. Super Bowl is something special. We enjoy it. I hope you have. We'll look forward to talking to you tonight at midnight when News 4 comes to you 1 hour late. Have a good night, everybody.